Good evening, everyone. Time once again for another ramble. I'm going to enjoy my Mountain Dew right now, but I'm not going to enjoy sleeping that much because my electric blanket decided to die. And it's an electric blanket where there's two zones on it, right? And it's if you have a couple that like both of them like a different level of heat, you just set it for one level for one person and one level for the other. Well, I'm a big guy, so I used both zones for me. And I noticed, after a while, I kept on having to set it a little bit higher, a little bit higher, a little bit higher to get that warmth out of it, Then one side of it died a couple days ago. But I still had the other side, so I cranked that one up a little bit more. 3 days later, it dies. So, both sides dead. I don't know what happened. I don't know how electric blankets burn out or break or whatnot. But it seems like there might be some planned obsolescence in this. And that much I really don't like to think about. Like, do they actually plan for only a certain number of hours for this thing to be able to work before it just tells itself, hey, break? And that way we'll be able to, sell them another for another $50. And it'll work because I will go out and buy another one. That one lasted 2 years. Originally, I only had to set it up to 10, but then I had to set it up to 20 towards the end there. And today it decided to snow in Colorado Springs. One last FU to me from whatever controls nature and the weather, which is really, I don't even think anything controls it at all, except for like axial tilt and seasonal changes and whatnot. So I planned a couple things to talk to you guys about. The first one is MMC, Madness, Mayhem, and Charity. I'm going to leave a link in the description box. I told Dev Shell 2 that I would paint some paintings, and then he could put them as the perks that people claim when they make donations to this thing. And the first one that I am painting is actually going to be Neil deGrasse Tyson on one side and Carl Sagan on the other. So it'll be like two people in the same painting, and I'm planning on putting a whole bunch of stars in it because they were astronomers. One still is. But if you donate to that stuff, look on the little sidebar, and if you donated enough to the Madness, Mayhem, and Charity thing, there's perks that you can claim. Like, you don't have to claim it. After he lists one of my paintings, it doesn't have to be the next person. It's just the first person who donates that much. And mine will probably be more accessible than the things that are on the list right now. But, more things will probably pop in from other people. I was honored for the spot to just put some paintings in there and do something for AIDS research. That'll be like the third charity that I've donated paintings to in a month. It's weird. Anyways, look for that painting to be listed as a perk when it comes out. And I'll probably post it on Facebook with a picture tomorrow. because I plan on working on it tomorrow, 6 p.m. Mountain Time, locking the doors to my market and working just on that. So, by tomorrow night. Let's see. The next thing I want to talk about, from MMC to MMJ. Link in the description box to a petition. And the reason why I'm sharing it with you guys, my YouTube audience, is because it's very similar to another thing that we deal with here that we like demonize really bad. In this situation, a mother has made the decision for her child that her child is not to receive chemotherapy for leukemia. Now, some of you might be thinking, oh, it's another one of those Jehovah's Witnesses that, they don't want their kid to have work on the blood done, and that's so horrible, it's child abuse and whatnot. Nope, not in this case. In this case, the mother has put her confidence in something else other than God. She put it in pot. Now, I have, on occasion, had some videos from adults who've made this decision for themselves, that they were going to use CBD extracts from cannabis to treat their own forms of cancer. Bob Krause was a very successful example of this, and there are videos about his case on my channel. But this case is something where a lot of people have taken a step back and said, whoa, there's a child involved in this, and that makes it different. A grown adult saying, I don't want chemo, I want to try this pot instead, that's okay. They're making a decision for themselves. But when there's a child involved, you can't make that decision. That's child abuse, and Child Protective Services needs to get involved here. Here's the thing, though. Kid was given chemotherapy and did not react well to it. And since the kid was given a very short amount of time to live, the mother brought the kid to Colorado as a medical tourist and started him on cannabis. And then his blood levels for platelets went back to normal. And his leukemia is in remission. And this is verifiable fact. And the doctors still want to put him through 3 more years of continuous chemotherapy. To make sure that it, has its ass kicked. That evil leukemia, evil stuff. Now the mother is starting to get a little biased against regular medicine from doctors. And pharmaceutical companies in particular. She doesn't think that the doctors really have her son Landon's health in mind. They think that he's got cancer, and so therefore they must prescribe expensive stuff from pharmaceutical companies. That's what's going on in her head. That's the bias. It's something shared by a lot of friends of mine that are medical marijuana activists. So I'm going to leave a link to the change.org petition where they're trying to send a message to the governor to recognize Landon's treatment with cannabis as something that's valid and not deserving, Child Protective Services getting involved and all that. But I would tell you guys to follow it all the way down, read the whole thing, and then click on the YouTube link, because the video from Dr. Sanjay Gupta's program, I think that does a better job of, I guess, persuading people towards her side than the mother's writing in the petition. The video itself shows, here's kid sick on chemo, here's kid in remission on pot. You know? And as much as I, want whatever is working to happen for this kid, I really want to wrap my head around the parallels that are obvious between this kid doing well after receiving CBD treatment, and maybe some kid doing well after receiving prayer treatment. It is possible that a remission can spontaneously happen that coincides with somebody leaving chemotherapy. Could be because the chemotherapy got started in the first place. But, we demonize the parents that turn to prayer because we feel like it's never going to work, or it's putting the child in peril and whatnot. And I feel like these two cases, these two types of cases are similar enough that there might be some sort of ground rule, some sort of principle to get from both of these by comparing the two. I just haven't been able to put my finger on it yet. Maybe somebody will leave me a comment and let me know. And if you can't wrap your head around that, just tell me what to paint next for that Madness, Mayhem, and Charity thing, and I'll gladly accept those comments, because I have my idea for the first one, and then I'm kind of drawing a blank here. Next story. I can't use names here because the person might actually watch this video, so I actually have to keep it so vague that even that person won't understand that this is about them. But I had someone come into my market and ask if I was me, asked if I was Michael, and I said yes, and asked if I was the one who did a certain painting for her child. And I said, yep, that was me. And she showed me a picture on her phone of her child. And her child's young adult, by the way. She asked me if I could paint that. And I said, sure. You can send it to me. And I looked at it, and there were other pictures available, and I can't really go into specifics as to what was wrong with this picture, more than it was more profile than head on. But this woman wanted her child's portrait painted as a birthday present. And the birthday is not anytime soon. There's plenty of time to do it. But she stopped in and she really, really wanted this done. And I will oblige her. But then she asked me something that kind of gave me pause. Because this person is in a group that I am also involved in that would that would lend anyone to think that this person is an atheist. Okay? And she asked me how I met her child did we meet at the gym? And I went along with that because I know where I met this person, right? And nothing that came up in the conversation prior to that point let me feel like it was okay to out this person as an atheist to their own mother, especially in this town of Colorado Springs. So I went along with it. I was like, yep, the gym, right? And then I had this thought in my head. It was really weird. It's like when a guy sees a hot girl and he looks her up and down, checks her out once. I was doing that, not to his mom, right? I was doing that to myself. Because I was like, I just told this person that the reason why I know this other person is the gym. And I did a look up and down of myself. I'm like, the gym? Really? Really? Probably not so much. I'm not really in shape. Why would anyone think that I spent a lot of time? I don't know. But, it made sense to her, and I will make her happy with a painting. And after the surprise is over and everything's out in the open to this person that I know, I will then ask, does your mom know? It's weird. It's like, we're not gay. We're not we're not terrorists. We're not, I don't know, what else could you be that you wouldn't want your parents to know about? We're not conspiring in a political party that isn't your parents. We're not doing anything weird, but I just feel like we're in the closet as a default. Like, you don't out someone to their own mom if you don't know that it's okay. And I kind of want for, like, an America where it's okay to just say, fuck it, no, we don't go to the gym. Look at me. No, we're skeptics. We're free thinkers. We're atheists. And that's how we know each other. We don't have a secret handshake. We went to Panera and we ate some eggs and some bagels and talked about sci-fi movies. Get over it. So, next story, a little bit more fun. I know that was probably depressing for a couple of you, but maybe one or two of you are gonna accuse me of chickening out there or something. But wasn't my place to come out to his mom. But new story. This one's fun. This is funny shit. Okay. So on Sunday we had a craft fair at my market. We've done this a couple times now. It's kind of rinse, wash, repeat. Get a whole bunch of people in there. Everyone's having fun. And one of the things I like to do in order to get more people to attend is to post pictures of it while it's going on in the Facebook events page, because it sends messages to everyone's email, which reminds them to come. They can see a picture of what they're going to come see, just basic marketing, right? I'm not that good. But I can take pictures and I can post them. So I do it. And I have fun doing it. And I was going around taking pictures of the interesting things at the market, during the craft fair. And I went to the back room where the East Wing, where there was like 40 different vendors set up in there. And I was going to each corner to get a different vantage point, like in the extreme corner, back up against the wall, trying to get the whole thing panoramic, Well, in one corner, a guy was selling what kind of looked like leftovers from Valentine's Day. Like white chocolate roses, red chocolate roses. Like, it really did look like Valentine's Day. He went to some fair where he prepared and had all these chocolate things that didn't sell. He was selling for $1 each. I did end up buying one later. But in order to get back there where I was to take the picture, I had to squeeze in between some tables and get back behind where people were set up to be vendors. And in getting out from behind there, I was in between his table and another table, and the lady at that table said, "Would you like a free sample? Here." And then she was digging in this basket, and she pulled out a plastic bag with a business card and the sample in it, right? She said, "Here, you look like a vanilla kind of guy." And I accepted the sample, and I looked at her and I said, "You need to work on your pickup lines." Right? And her and her friend got a little chuckle, but I felt really cool, and I walked off on that note. It was really good timing. Proud of myself. I walked towards the next corner, and there is a massage table set up, because apparently now at my craft fairs, Cinnamon brings in massage tables now. And these people do good business giving out massages to people. And there was actually like a little raffle box for a free 45-minute massage. I've never had a massage that long. Like, not even intimately. Like, wow. That's a long time to spend on a massage. But I got behind that massage table because it was in the corner, and I took a picture, and then I got down out of that corner and turned around, and I took a picture of the masseuse and her massage table, and I posted that to the Facebook page. The very next table was a guy who had a service dog. And the service dog, we noticed, was alerting at the office when he walked in. And I was then later told that he has a peanut allergy. And this service dog has one purpose: to detect peanuts. And because we're in the same building as a Texas T-bone steakhouse, it just so happens that we have a very big shopping bag full of peanuts in the office. And that's what he was alerting to. So I told this guy why his dog was alerting. It's because, yes, there are peanuts in the building, and there's a giant bag of them in the office. So his dog wasn't like flipping out because of like all the people at the fair. It was like legitimate. There's peanuts. The dog was right, because normally, dog alerts, and then he'll see the evidence of it. So I just wanted him to know the dog was spot on. So I turn around, and my employee, Katie, she asked me a question because there was something she didn't understand. And while she was talking to me, I opened the baggie with the free sample, and I popped it in my mouth. And I don't know what Katie said to me, because it did not matter, because at first I tasted oatmeal, and then I tasted way too much vanilla, and then I put my hand over my mouth and I said, "It's fizzing! It's fizzing! Hold on, it's fizzing!" And I headed to the bathroom because I had bit into something. I didn't know what it was, but it was like Pop Rocks in a little gumdrop shape, right? The Pop Rocks, oatmeal, vanilla, what the hell? And then it was kind of a soapy flavor, and it was not food. This free sample that was right next to a table full of candy. This free sample was not food. It was a bath product from a company called Fizz. And my employee and her friend followed me to the bathroom to continue laughing and pointing and whatnot. And, yeah. It was written all over the business card, too, like bath and beauty products. You know, like, if I had just looked before I popped it in my mouth. It was kind of embarrassing, especially given that I was so snappy, you know, with my comeback to them earlier. I just felt like adult circumcision, really. Like I lost an inch off my penis. It was that bad. The story's gotten around, and there's no use for me to hide from it that I popped bath salts into my mouth thinking that it was candy. I don't eat people's faces off like a zombie, like some people have joked. But, yeah. There it is. So, the last thing I want to talk about is actually an important economics lesson. And this story is another one from my craft fair. So, at the conclusion to the craft fair, a lot of people were using shopping carts in order to break down their vendor tables, put all the stuff in, and then use them to go out to their vehicles and put their stuff in their vehicles and then bring back the carts. Now, the way that these carts were in my market at all is not that I went out and bought some shopping carts. We do have a couple of baskets. We have some hand trucks. We have a giant wheeled thing. I don't know what you would call it. It's kind of like a hand truck dolly thing, but it's more like with monster truck wheels. We've got a lot of things in order to move items in the market, but we don't really supply shopping carts. The way the shopping carts got to my market is that they appear in the parking lot right in front of my market. And the reason why is because about 2 blocks away, there is a neighborhood Walmart to the north of us. And to the south of us, there are a couple apartment complexes. And what happens is, people from the apartments will walk to Walmart, fill up a shopping cart full of food, I assume pay for it, then they bring the cart full of food all the way to their apartment. And then there's a shopping cart right at their apartment that they don't want. And rather than pushing the cart all the way back to Walmart, another 3 blocks, 4 blocks, they see, hey, there's a shopping center right there. We'll just push it there and leave it, and they'll have to deal with it, right? A shopping center is a shopping center, and the less time that we have the stolen property of Walmart carts in our possession, the better, because wouldn't want a cop to pass by and see that we just have an empty shopping cart, from Walmart. They might think that we're stealing it. So let's just get rid of it as quickly as possible in this really close shopping center. So, from time to time, I find a shopping cart right in front of my store, right in front of my market, before we open. It's just there. I collect them. Okay? And every cart that we get right now, because we have a couple of them, I call Walmart. I say, can I talk to the manager? And I say, look, I'm here in my market, and we've got a couple of your shopping carts. Could you please send somebody to come get them, because we have your shopping carts? And I always get a reply to the affirmative of, yes, we'll send somebody out today. Does it ever happen? No, it does not. Never. Not once have they ever sent someone to come get the shopping carts. Now, I have allowed someone to take the shopping carts back, and I actually don't think that he did. I have stopped someone from pulling like a chop shop job on them in order to recycle them, because that would just be a waste. And pretty much we just, every 2 weeks or so I find another cart. It's just a fact of doing business. Well, when the carts are collected in a place in my market and they're just sitting there waiting to be returned to Walmart, the people who do the craft fair will use the carts. And I don't have a problem with it. I really don't. Well, here's the thing about externalities that at least one person in the world does not get. I will not take 20 minutes out of my day, 20 or 30 minutes, to push Walmart's carts back to Walmart. That's not my job. It's not my responsibility. Walmart's carts were thrown into my shopping center. I lease at the shopping center, but it looks very bad. To see a Walmart shopping cart in front of my store is blight, in my opinion. So I do take them and I put them in a certain part of my market where they're not seen. Okay? I'm not doing it to steal the cart. I'm doing it to clean up the rubbish blight that Walmart puts on the community. Their carts go everywhere. It's not just my market. It's not just my shopping center. There are other adjoining neighborhoods that their carts are being pushed to. Right? Because people aren't driving to get their groceries. They're just taking the carts home with them. So, if you go out to a wash that's like a flood control basin type thing that's sort of near where my market is, you'll find about a dozen of them down there. And Walmart does not do anything to keep their carts from being taken. You know, if it's a problem like this, they need to have a security guard, say, or some employee standing out in the parking lot making sure that nobody rolls off with a sharpened cart. They need to do this. That is their responsibility because they are generating this refuse, which is giant metal baskets that are going everywhere in the neighborhood and creating blight. Okay? Some of these baskets are being chopped up, the plastic taken off of them, and just chopped into pieces of metal and turned in as scrap metal for $5 or $6. And that is a huge waste. Seriously. To think that, you know, an expensive shopping cart is being turned into scrap metal just because they have no control over it. They have no way in place. They have no method to keep that from happening. So, the reason why I don't feel like it's my responsibility is because it would take, you know, in order to clean up this blight and return their carts to them by pushing them all the way to their store, it would take for me probably 2 hours out of every month. And this is a cost that they aren't going to accept a bill for. You know, the reason why this problem is there is because Walmart put a neighborhood market in my neighborhood. It's not because I have a store in a shopping complex. Okay? This is called an externality. Okay? Walmart puts this on everyone else, and then they just assume that if people have a problem with it, they'll return their carts to Walmart. You know, if you know they don't do anything to fix the problem. And I've heard that there's some sort of service that they contract with in other cities at least, but it's supposed to be in our city too, where they go around looking for their carts and returning them. And you can like call the Walmart, and the Walmart will call the service, and they return the carts. But it's not working. So, back to the craft fair. At the end of it, when people were using these carts, a certain person, who I'm not going to use the guy's name. I know his name now because it has been told to me. But a certain person, I'd never seen him before this Sunday. He came in and he asked me, those carts are taken from Walmart, aren't they? I said, they belong to Walmart. He said, you took them from Walmart to use in your store, didn't you? And I said, no. Walmart can come get them. And he's like, that's wrong. You stole Walmart's carts. And this is an old guy, right? But he was really trying to be intimidating in front of a bunch of people that were surrounding me. They were all close to me, so they, you know, they were on my side with this anyway. But I told him, we called them about this. And then he tells me, oh, and I suppose they don't come get them, right? As if, like, the next part that I'm going to tell him is going to be a lie. I'm like, yes, they don't come get them. They don't. And he says, well, that's wrong. You need to return those carts. And I said, okay, thank you. Because I wasn't going to get into it with anyone at the end of a craft fair. I didn't want any shouting match to occur or anything. This guy was trying to use his body to be intimidating. He's not even as big as me. But he did look like he was a little bit unhinged. And I got the feeling that maybe he was a fan of Walmart. So I dubbed him the Walmart Warrior. So I described what happened to me the next day to one of the vendors in my market, and this person asked me a little bit of the description of this guy. And I said, yeah, that's about right. Yeah, he does wear that. And then I found out that this guy is a local crazy, basically. He walks around the neighborhood, and he's very belligerent, and he actually has a criminal record that includes assault of at least 2 things that I know of. So then I went ahead and the next time this guy came, I had my phone ready, and I turned the recorder on. Okay? And that's a little Easter egg at the bottom of all these links that I said that'll be in the description box. There's no video evidence of him, like I didn't catch it on video, but there's his voice shouting and our reaction to it. Basically, we're telling him, look, drop it. We don't want to hear it. If you want to call Walmart and tell them that their carts are here, feel free. We've already done it. You go ahead and tell them that we stole their carts. I don't care. Tell them they're right here. Come get them. You know? They won't do it. We don't care to hear anybody telling us that we're wrong for not taking time out of our days to push the carts all the way back to Walmart. Okay? And I know a lot of people in succession, in order to create this situation, say, well, it's not my job. It's not my job. I don't have to do that. You know, I can push that off on somebody else. Here's the thing. I run a business. And my business is not to subsidize the return of Walmart's carts. Okay? None of my employees are going to be pushing Walmart's carts back to fucking Walmart. Okay? They're going to be doing work inside my business. I am not going to return Walmart's carts because my time is money. Okay? Walmart needs to come get their own carts, especially when we do them the courtesy of telling them exactly the fuck where they are. Okay? There's many other worse stories of Walmart pushing externalities onto other people, like a lot of their employees being on different government services and whatnot. This is just a small story. Probably each cart may be worth $200. Right? They probably get a better price because they buy in bulk, because they are very lax with the security around them. And they kind of need to buy in bulk. But as small as this story is, it really is important to me to let people know that this is on them, right? They were the first in the chain of people saying, we don't have to. And that point where they said we don't have to is, we don't have to pay a high schooler to wear a little orange vest and stand on that side of the building to make sure that nobody steals a cart. That's the first we don't have to, and that whole chain of it's not my responsibility, it's not my responsibility, not my responsibility. The first thing was them. Okay? Now, if I could only get Wendy's to come pick up their wrappers, you know, because I know that's never going to happen. I might one day see that Walmart service, you know, and it's probably a subcontractor, and I'll get their business card so I can call them directly and not deal with Walmart bullshit. But the occasional Wendy's wrapper that blows across my parking lot, that's another externality for another day. Alright, peoples. I'm almost done with my do. Take care. Leave a comment on whatever it was I said. I told like 5 stories in this ramble. You got a really good bargain with this one. And World of Warcraft players, find a podcast, because this ramble is over.